This is Amud Yomi, Gemara Berachos, Daf Lamed Hey Amud Aleph. Baruch Hashem, an exciting day here with Amud Yomi as we're beginning a new parak, and also exciting as we're really entering a new world of Gemara Berachos. We've had a lot of Agadata, a lot about Tefillah, and now we enter the famous parak of Kitzad Mevarchim, which is going to deal extensively about Berachos. Says the Mishnah, Lamed Hey Amud Aleph, Kitzad Mevarchin al haPeiros. Kitzad over here does not mean how, it means in what manner. Kitzad Mevarchin on Peiros, fruits, al Peiros Eilan Oimer, grapes, chutz min hayayin, but not grapes, wine, even though it comes from grapes which come from a tree. Why? Shal yayin Oimer, Berberei Gafen. Val Peiros Aretz Oimer. Fruits of the ground, you say Barbi Adam, chutz min hapasiks for bread, even though it comes from wheat, which comes from the ground. Shalapasu Oimer, Amoitzach min Aretz. Val Yerakos and veggies Oimer Barbi Adama. If you Oimer Barbi Minei, Dishaim. A little bit more precise, that talking about Dishaim, talking about precisely the herbs. And review does, we'll see it has to be holds you more specific in the brachos. Says the Gemara, Mina Hani Mili. And this kasha Mina Hani Mili really is going to be for the duration of the Amid, which is, what is the makar for a bracha before you eat? And we'll see after you eat as well. The Tanur Rabbanan says the Gemara, Kodesh Hilulim Lashem. Says the pasuk that on the fourth year, all the fruit should be Kodesh, should be holy. Hilulim Lashem. Praises to Hashem. From here we learn now, Malam de Shiza Sheteunim, Bracha, Lifnehem Ulachrehem, Hilulim, in the plural, thereby teaching us two types of Hilul, two types of praises, a praise before you eat and a praise after you eat. Mikadim Rav Akiva, Rav Akiva taught us, Ladim Shitim Kulam, Koidim Shiyavarchin Al taste anything before you eat. That's Makar number one. Just to give a little bigger picture over here, we're now going to segue into a long and lengthy question that this pasuk of Kodesh Hilulim Hashem is not free to teach us this din, because it's needed for a different halacha. So if it's needed for a different halacha, then we have a problem. So how do we know that you have to make a bracha if the pasuk of Kodesh Hilulim Hashem is utilized for something else? Asks the Gemara, we're about 10 lines down. The first word line is Vahai. Vahai Kodesh Hilulim Lachi Udasa. This pasuk of Kodesh Hilulim, is this what the pasuk is coming to teach? Haimi Baile, but we need this word of Hilulim to teach us something else. Chadam Rachman Achle Vader Achle. Firstly, the Torah teaches us, again, the pasuk said about the fruits in the fourth year. So it's teaching us Hilulim, which teaches us Achle. There's Kedusha. So what do you have to do? You have to remove the Kedusha. You have to deconsecrate. Hilul and Chalul are always interchangeable. And then, Hadar Achle. And only afterwards are you able to eat it. This is Meiser Sheni. This is, you want to eat the fruit of the fourth year, you have to bring it to Yerushalayim. You want to eat it outside of Yerushalayim, Kodesh, it's holy. Hilulim Hashem, you have to be mechalal it, and only then can you eat it. Ve'edach, and the other Hilulim is going to come to teach us, Davar Shetan Shira, Ta'an Chilul. Something that requires Shira has a din of Chilul. She'enai Ta'an Shira, Einai Ta'an Chilul, will not have this din of Chilul, which is teaching us that this halacha, that there's kedusha on the items of the fourth year, is specifically for davar atah in shira. What is that? Referring specifically to grapes. And the vine and the geffen said to them, should I withhold my wine, which makes people happy? So what does the pasuk mean? It's misamech Elokim v'adam. If it makes a man happy, how does it make Hashem happy? From here we learn out, it says, Rav Yishmar Nachmeni, she'ein oimim shira, that shira is only Ella al hayayin. So that's where we learn out the second Hilulim. So says the Gemara, we had this word of Kodesh Hilulim Hashem, and you thought it could teach us you have to make brachas. Says the Gemara, no. Well, number one, we need it to teach us that in the fourth year you have to be mechalel the peiros and then eat it. And number two, we needed to teach us that the din of chilul, of hillel, of kedusha is only on the grape, on a davar haton shira. Says the Gemara, 1 second. This is a massive machlekes. Is this din of kedusha in the fourth year only on grapes, only on an item that's ton shira, or is it on everything? According to the Manda Amr that says it's a din on net ravai, then it's good. Hanich lamandetani net ravai, elamandetani kerem ravai. Meaning, if it's kerem ravai, then we have our kasha, because then this word hilulim is teaching us specifically davar atol and shira. But if it's teaching us net ravai that refers to all fruits, then it doesn't need a special pasuk that can refer to us as well. Deitmar Rav Chiv Rav Shimon Rebbe Chatani net ravai Chatani kerem Chatani net ravai. Ulaman, and the Gemara now continues to limit and zone in even further on the kasha. Ulamandit tani kerem ravai, and even according to the Manda Amar that says it's referring to kerem ravai, which is referring to only the fruits of grapes of tar and ton shira. So hilulim is good if you hold of gzera shava that you're going to equate davar ton shira, grapes to everything else. Ditan, like we learned in our Braisa. Rabbi Omer teaches Rabbi Nemer kan lo haisif lochan tuasai. It says with regards to the payros of the Shan Ravis of the fourth year to increase the produce. And then it says elsewhere, Utavuas kerem. So for these two words, we make a classical gzera shava. Malahalon keren avkan keren. And yatale chadilu. So now we wrap the whole kash up. So if we have this gzera shava equating kerem ravai and etem ravai, equating that it's not just a din in grapes, it's din in all fruits. So then yatale chad hillel libracha. Then we have one hillel left, because one is teaching us about being mechalel before you eat it in the fourth year. The other one is all fruits are equal, so we don't need this extra pasuk of hillel. So why do we have the extra hillel back for us? Which is what? You have to make a bracha before you eat your peiros. V'loyal of gzera shava, but if you don't hold the gzera shava, then we have a problem. Then the pasuk is needed specifically for hilulim, for neteravai. So bracha minale. Where do we know what is the makar to make a bracha? So now the Gemara says, 1 second, we sort of tricked ourselves. Even if you learn a gzera shava, we still have a problem. Why? We needed the word hilulim for two psukim. Kodesh hilulim, one before Hillel, one praise before, and one praise after. So very good, you're telling me that there's one of the words, one of the drashas left. But what do you do with the other one? You need a bracha both before and after. Answers the Gemara about 15 lines from the wide lines. First line is loy kasha ta'asya bekal v'chaymer. Why? We can learn it from a kal v'chaymer. If you have to make a bracha afterwards, and Rashi says, why is it simple that we're talking about that there's a makar to make a bracha afterwards? Because the chaltav zavata beirachtos, we have a makar, we have a source to make a bracha afterwards. But says the Gemara, very good, it's only a bracha after. Certainly, you would make a bracha prior. Says the Gemara, very good. So now, Ashkechan Kerem, Shar Minim Minayin. Fine, so you have a makar, hilulim to make a bracha after, then we make a limud to bracha before. This is only about grapes. Shar miniyam ninailin. How do we know all other items? Says where the elf mikarem. Learn from the grape. Ma karen dav shenena b'tam bracha. You get a benefit and needs a bracha. I call dav shenena tam bracha. Every item that gives you benefit, you make a bracha on it. Ask the Gemara 1 second. But grapes have some special dinim. Ikle mifrach. I'll ask you. Malakarim jichayim ba'ilis. A special din of ba'ilis about the grapes. Which grapes you have to give to the matnas anim, etc. Kama techech. Says the Gemara. Wait, I'll give you a raya from kama from standing grain. Says the Gemara 1 second. Malakama, standing green, also has its chumrah. Shkin chayavis bechala. It's obligated in chala. Kerem yochiach. So says the Gemara of a chazer adin. That what larizek rizev lagrazi hasana shavashem. There's a commonality. There's a common denominator between kerem and between chala, between kama, between grain and between grapes. What is the common denominator? Shadar v'shenena ta'in bracha. Kol davar shenena ta'in bracha, and that's going to be our makar. They have to make brachas both before and after you eat. It says the Gemara 1 second. 4 lines from the medium-sized lines. Ask the Gemara both of the items that we're discussing. Grain and grapes, both of it sad mizbeach. They're brought onto the mizbeach. What about other foods which do not? V'zayis, says the Gemara, mitzad mizbeach also. So zayis, we could learn why. We don't need it because it says explicitly by Zayis Kerem to say V'yaver Mikadash V'adkama Kerem Zayis. It says Gemara, you're telling me that we include a Zayis from this Sada Shava. We don't need it because by Zayis, by olives, it says Kerem. Amar Rav Papa, no. Kerem Zayis Ikri. Kerem Stama Loy Ikri. So the Zayis, the olive, you can't learn out from Kerem. But now it concludes the Gemara's kasha on the first medium-sized line. We call Makam kasha. So how do you learn out everything else? Items that aren't brought on the mizbeach. How do you know? You have to make a bracha on a candy which isn't brought on the mizbeach. Ella says the Gemara a different makar. Ti'olav lami shivas aminim. Ma shivas aminim davar shenana. You get benefit of time bracha. I've called davar shenana time bracha. Ma shivas aminim shazmar 1 minute. Shechayavas bikurim. The special dinam of shivas aminim. They have to bring bikurim, the first fruits. V'ayim. Furthermore, ha'teinach la'acharov. You only have a makar for the shivas aminim to make a bracha after you eat the items. However, lefanav minayin, how do you know beforehand? Hala kasha, says the Gemara again. If you think Hashem when you satiate, certainly ksharaiv, you when you're hungry, lo kol shkein, you should think Hashem and ask Hashem for the food. Ella, says the Gemara, leman detani netravai. Going all the way back to the beginning. If you're learning it from this pasuk of Neter Ravai, the 4th year fruits, that's only something which requires planting. To lav bar netia, we have a fundamental problem. Kon basar, beitzim, medagim, meat, eggs, and fish, minali. Where do you know? You have to make a bracha. And here we conclude, says the Gemara, the famous line, Elo Svaro Aser Laila Adam Sheyehene Min Ha'olam Hazeh Beloi Bracha. You can't get benefits from this world without a blessing, and that is the final makar for all brachas. Whether this goes back and is a makar for everything, whether it's just for items which aren't atzan mizbech, etc. But that is the makar that one has to make a bracha both before and after he eats. We'll pick it up from Tanur Rabban on the next year. B'siyata Dishmaya.